Okay, Viv, could you tell me about what you think the key learnings are for school leaders to take away from the Leeds Beckett University research report and the impact of leadership coaching in schools?
Okay, so there's quite a few strands to that. So I might have to just touch base and
absolutely.
Make sure that I've answered all the questions. So the key learning, I think there are a number. I think one is to recognise, I think in terms of the findings, is that the personal and the professional, they go side by side, and one cannot be done without the other. I think too much of what we see in terms of head teacher support is focused on the professional. So we have the MPQH, but we have all the other MPQ sort of programs. And yes, they have their place. But I think what this report really highlights is it's the personal that matters, and they both need to journey along side by side. And if that is neglected, what the report has highlighted is that's when head teachers begin to maybe think about exiting. That's when head teachers begin to think that they can't do. But if they have the support inside which coaching provides, that helps them to understand the internal changes that are happening while professionally they're leading their schools, they begin to embody the role differently. They begin to recognise their faulty ways of thinking, or they begin to recognise how they can overcome maybe emotions that have been weighing really heavy upon them, and they just begin to see themselves in the role differently. So I think that's a real key recommendation in terms of the personal and the professional. They go side by side. We can't have one without the other. It's not an either or, it's a yes and relationship between the two. So I think that's really important. I think another key recommendation is really in terms of the role of governors, MATs and unions, and let's be honest, DfE, policymakers. It breaks my heart and it grieves me that we still have so many heads who are leaving the profession. Can't tell you how upset I get, either if I'm having a conversation or I'm having a call with someone who is just so close to the edge. It's wrong. And those who have that duty of care, then they have an obligation, and this has been, identified in the report, to recognise what their duty of care is about. Again, it grieves me when heads are told, well, you're paid X, Y, and Z. You're paid so much to take all the flak. And that's dehumanising. And it's disrespectful. And it's such a lack of understanding of what the role is about. A head teacher is paid to be the lead practitioner, to be the lead learner, to be a role model. They are not paid to act as robots and to be devoid of feeling and emotion. That is wrong. And so, going back to the key recommendation, it is about governors. It is about unions recognising, fully understanding what it means to have a duty of care and to put that care in for head teachers. Head teachers should not have to beg for it. They should not have to ask for it. It should be seen as part and parcel of when a head teacher is appointed. We want you, and we want you to stay as your best, and we want you to flourish in this role. And so we're going to provide leadership coaching to sustain you and for you to never, ever have to feel that you're alone or that you can't do this job by yourself. So I think that's another key recommendation from the report that really, really has to be taken on board. It can't continue as we're doing. There's so much emphasis, and I understand why, and it makes sense around teacher well-being, but we can't forget the well-being of heads, and that's what I really hope this report will help to highlight and further complement other reports that are out there, that yes, there's teacher well-being and head teacher well-being needs to be recognised alongside that.